Slotcha, how you do, buckaroos, and how the heck are you? I'm still working outside a little bit, getting my smoker cleaned up. As I mentioned in the earlier video, I got this nice Wagyu tri-tip I'm going to cook later, but got another couple cocktails to share with you here. As I fix this real quick here. So with the last set of cocktails, I used exactly the same. Well, used the same mixer, the same garnish, just changed the whiskey or the product. I would do the brandy on one and gin on the other. For this particular set of two cocktails, well, I used the same whiskey, but then I changed the mixer. So both cocktails are using this Gully Town straight single American malt whiskey, aged in new charred oak barrels, double distilled in pot stills. This particular whiskey is aged in new charred oak barrels, double distilled in pot stills. Barrel date is 4/2 of 18. Bottle date is 5/10 of 23. So it's a 5-year-old single malt. The Gully Town story draws upon Kansas City history of the 1800s and Irish immigrants. The whiskey is created in honor of their work ethic and determination that reflects the mashing, fermentation, and distilling technique of their homeland. This American straight single malt, made from 100% malted barley and twice distilled in copper pot stills, which aged for 5 years in new charred American white oak barrels. This stuff is just gorgeous. So the other product they had, the other single malt, was aged much like an Irish whiskey in used bourbon barrels. So it was a little lighter, much like you'd expect it to be. Well, this whiskey has that darker pigment, but that 100% malted barley is gorgeous. So here's what I did here. So I'm going to start with my Dirty American. So my Dirty American uses that whiskey, 2 ounces, a half ounce of olive juice, and 2 feta stuffed olives. So I've got a dirty martini. So we're calling this one a Dirty American. So when I have a martini, my favorite martini is always a dirty martini. But many years ago, I don't know, more than 2 decades ago now, I did a version of it using uh, wild turkey rare breed. I called it Dirty Bird. Then later I used other Irish whiskeys called it Dirty Irishman. Well, here we're using an American single malt whiskey, so now we got the Dirty American going on. Damn, that's good. This is a 92 proof whiskey, I do believe. Yeah, 46%, 92 proof. Yeah, God, she is just gorgeous, man. So yeah, I'm getting my smoker cleaned out today, and I do have a piece of meat I want to get on there later today. Hopefully, if not, I may do it tomorrow. But sometimes it takes a little longer to get things cleaned out than I think it ought to. I like to get a good burnout fire in there. Always a new season, I want to get a good fire in there, get it cleaned out real well, and season her up again. I went to a local meat market and they had this gorgeous, I mean, gorgeous Wagyu tri-tip, which is usually $27.99 a pound. They had it for $19.99 a pound. Probably because I only had two of them left. They just wanted to get rid of them, I guess. But she looked good. She didn't look past her prime to me, man. So I picked up. It was right at 3 pounds even. And I guessed it right too. So this one's about 3 pounds, I'm guessing. He said, "Oh, most of them around about 2.5 pounds." If you put it on there, so you were right. It's exactly 3 pounds. I have a gift. I have a gift, man. The tri-tip is an interesting piece of meat because you like you've got to cut it just right, right? You got to cut against the grain up to the point, and then you see that other piece of meat, and take it this way. A lot of folks don't understand that, and they cut it the same way all the way down, and you're going to screw it up. But if you treat her right, you might have the very best piece of meat you've ever had. But you got to treat her right. Don't necessarily have to marinate, but you can. I like to do a dry rub on mine. I put a nice dry rub on there, wrap it tight in plastic wrap, and let it sit for a while. Let that kind of permeate for a while. Now, this particular one, I'm going to treat a lot like if it was a prime rib. Gonna rub a little horseradish on there, right the finish, get it with some fresh cracked pepper. And just give it a light smoke, right? I want a little bit of smoke on there, but I don't want to. I don't want it, I don't want a heavy smoke on this piece of meat because I want that meat to shine. It's a wagyu, right? So I want that flavor. I want to add enough to bring that flavor out, but not to cover up the flavor. And that's that line a lot of folks just don't get. You want to add the right seasonings to bring that flavor out. You want to add the right amount of smoke to bring that flavor out, but you don't want to cover up, right? You don't want to hide the flavor of the meat. And those apologies. Man, that's nice. That's a nice cocktail, man. I don't care who you are. That's tasty. Anyways, I need to wrap this up. I see my steps about ready to go here. So I'm going to take a little pause for the cause. I am going to come on later this evening. This will be my last video for a little bit, but about 6:15, I'm going to come back on with the one, the only, the inimitable Jersey Johnny, about somewhere between 6 and 6:30. I think we're going to talk some cocktails. So if you get a chance, tune in with me later. God, this whiskey is gorgeous. So the olives, like, what olives you use in Tom? Because you like to use a lot of different olives. I do. Back in August, I picked up some bacon cheddar stuffed olives at an Italian market in Weston, Missouri, a little gourmet Italian market in Weston, Missouri. And I used the last one, I don't know, probably about a month ago. Then my wife found these feta olives for me. So I like to change the olive game up a little bit. Sometimes I use the traditional pimento stuff, but I use garlic stuffed, jalapeno stuffed. I was telling Jersey Johnny last night. I think I've used about every olive I could find, except for anchovy stuff. I don't want anchovy stuff, but I will use everything else. I've had all kinds of cheese stuff. I've used blue cheese, the bacon cheddar, the feta. I've had some white cheddar stuff upon occasion. But yeah, there's and now we're using the feta stuff. So I do like some olives, man. There's something nice about a dirty martini. And it doesn't have to be gin. It doesn't even have to be vodka. It just has to be pure, right? You, yeah, man, it has to be simple, baby. It has to come from the heart, man. Anyway, I digress. So again, I cheated just a little bit on this one using a whiskey sour, but using my lemon drop cocktail mix here. And again, the same whiskey. Again, just trying to prove a point that your cocktails, your best cocktails, are simple. They don't have to have a lot of ingredients. And I like to impress upon folks just to use what you have. Your recipe may call for this, that, or the other, but look at what you have and say, okay, what can I do with that? Right? Your recipe calls for this garnish, but you have this. You will use that. You know, none of these cocktail recipes were handed down from God to Moses on stone tablets. So do what you want to do with it. Make it your own. You don't have to go out and spend a lot of money. Use what you have. And the garnishes I bought, the cherries, the orange, the things you see me use, everything I have, I picked up on sale. I mean, I like to buy good products, but I will not pay full retail. So yeah, I mean, look what this product, for instance, it was on sale, which is why we bought it. It was marked down, clearanced out, so we picked it up. So yeah, don't be afraid to do that, man. Using my Restless Spirits glass. I know I said this earlier, but man, my experience there at Restless Spirits was just so amazing. And the customer service was incredible. Everything about that place, I cannot recommend it highly enough. If you get a chance to go, go. I mean, I spent a lot more money in there than I intended on just because their customer service was that impeccable. I mean, it really was. It was impressive from top to bottom. Everything about that place, the products, their customer service, their cocktails, their precision of everything about Russell Spirits was perfect for me. So there you go. And this is gorgeous, by the way. That's nice, man. Like I said, there are a lot of folks out there that might want this drink slightly sweeter than I do. I'm just not a fan of a big sweet drink. So for me, this works nicely. But if you want to add a little simple syrup to sweeten it up, if you want to sugar the rim, again, don't be afraid to make the cocktail your own. Biscuits. Anyways, I digress. I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to finish cleaning up my smoker out here. People want to say grill, but she's a smoker. She's a smoker, baby. My pit barrel cooker. I do love this thing. I got to tell you, a lot of folks want for the more expensive options, the more trendy options. I think a lot of folks that like to smoke meat tend to be trendy, right? They look at what other folks are buying. So I'm going to buy that one because they're buying it. For me, it's about practicality. I bought this one for practicality. I decided on this one after looking at others, knowing what I like to do. Right? I didn't want an electric ignition. I don't like that. I don't want to use pellets. I don't like that. For me, smoking meat isn't just about the smoking of meat. It's about the ceremony, right? It's about everything. It's about the whole idea, the whole production, right? For me, it's about getting the charcoal lit. It's about getting your wood ready. It's about getting, and that's what I love about the pit barrel is it allows me to enjoy the ceremony of the whole thing. It is a damn near foolproof system. What I like about it is you've got these holes, two holes on each side for rebar. Put that rebar in, and I'm going to put this. I talked about that tri-tip. The tri-tip isn't going to sit on a rack. Oh no, 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 no. The tri-tip is going to hang. When I put it on a hook, it's going to hang there, and the smoke is just going to come all around and lightly kiss that tri-tip. I'm going to pull it out after about an hour at about 175 to 200. A little bit of smoke. Again, I don't want too much smoke on there, but I want enough. I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to get too done. I just want it done enough. I want to get it right at a nice rare, just this side of blue rare. I'm going to put a reverse sear on it, and I'm going to tell you, it's going to be gorgeous, man. 'Cause I've done this. I've done this several times, and this pit barrel method is just damn near foolproof if you just do what they tell you to do. I mean, ribs. Every rack of ribs I've cooked on here has been brilliant. The only thing I do different than their method, in all honesty, is that their method calls for, if I remember right, 3 hours of hanging it, then laying it, then put the sauce on. I don't do that. I don't like a sauce rib. I'm more about a Memphis dry rib. So I will just let it hang for about 3.5 hours, depending on the size of the rack, and that works perfect for me. So, anyways, I digress. But I digress, man. I have done the Whiskey Whisper, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor wisdom, and I'm going to tune in with y'all later. Please try to listen when I come back later this evening with Jersey Johnny, man. One more time with feeling. Tom the Whiskey Whisperer, blah, 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 blah. All around good guy, Slancho.